she works hard to ensure her children are equipped with knowledge and skills to survive as a competent human being. I have heard it said that a mother can take the place of all others, but whose place no one can take. The Bible describes the Proverbs 31 woman as a woman of great wisdom and diligence, compassion and kindness, a great woman of fear of the Lord, strength and dignity, wisdom and speech, and a love and devotion to her family and community. Today she would be referred to as a woman of wisdom, hardworking, a great focus on family and faith, practical and resourceful, generous, and her priorities for seeking the Lord. A mother knows her children's every move. The word tells us that children are a gift from God. Many mothers are mentioned in the Bible, and I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about some of them. Their unique stories and valuable insights for today. These women share stories of faith with their strength, wisdom, and unwavering faith. Christianity, these mothers played pivotal roles in the setting foundations of Christianity, but also timeless lessons of motherhood, courage, and faith. Many fought the forces of hell to create and protect their children. Women like Moses' mother, Jochebed. She was a woman with a plan to protect her child, and in Exodus 2, Moses was hid for 3 months due to a mandate from Pharaoh. We all know the story. She gave birth. He was 3 months old. She couldn't hide him any longer. So she put him in a basket and put him in a snake-infested river. Think of the bravery that this woman had and the faith in God that he would protect. Moses was in the river, and Pharaoh's daughter found him. His sister, Miriam, was not far behind and saw who got him. She went and told her mom, and then she went to Pharaoh's daughter and said, "Would you like an Israelite woman to come and nurse your baby?" And she agreed. So Moses' mother was allowed to actually raise him, to feed him and nurture him as he was young. God's plan. Pharaoh's daughter raised him, and he became a pivotal in leading the Israelites out of Egypt. Let's take a look at Samson's mother. She wasn't given a name, but that was the mother who followed the rules. She was a barren woman, and in Judges 13, an angel appeared to her, telling her that she would give birth to a son, and that a razor would never touch his head. Well, she gave birth to the son. His name was Samson. He was brought up as a Nazirite, but in later life, he left that. But God turned it around. Again, faithfulness to the mom's prayers. And he delivered the Israelites he delivered the Israelites into freedom. Now, from the Philistines, we're going to talk about Hannah. She was the mother who kept her promise in Samuel 1, 5, and 6. Hannah was married to Elkanah, and he was a man who loved her very much. But he also had another wife who had numerous children by him. Hannah was barren and was not able to give him a child. She would go to the house of the Lord and bitterly cry out to him for a child and promise that if she did become pregnant, she would give that child back to the Lord. Well, she did get pregnant, and she had a son. His name was Samuel. And she followed what she had said, and she gave him back to the Lord after she had weaned him. Think of what it was like for Hannah wanting a child so badly, and then finally being able to have one, but then giving up her rights, honoring what she had said to the Lord, but she gave up her rights as a mom and was not able to really spend the time she would have if he was in her home. To me, that it would sadden me that I would not be able to raise my son, although it was God's plan. Sarah, the mother who waited in Genesis 11, we all know the story of Abraham and Sarah. Sarah was barren. God told them to look to the stars in the sky, and that would be the number of their offspring. They waited 15 years before God renewed the promise, and another 10 years. But in between there, Sarah had her own plan. She had given Abraham her maidservant, Hagar, and they brought forth a child. It wasn't the child of the promise, but Sarah veered from God's plan. But God did not give up. He honored her and gave her a child, Isaac, and it followed right through to what his original plan was for them. Thankfully, God's promises are not relying on us. Let's look at Hagar. Hagar, the mother who endured. Hagar was an Egyptian servant to Sarah. She did not have much to say about anything, certainly not becoming a wife to Abraham. And actually, when you think of it, when I was thinking about this, it was almost like one of the first sex trafficking. She was just given to him. This is what you're supposed to do. Between Sarah and Hagar, and she fled into the desert in Genesis 2 because there was a lot of turmoil. God was with the boy as he grew up, and Hagar thought she would escape her misery. But God called her to return, and as she obeyed him, he blessed her and her son, just as he had promised. Mary, the mother of Jesus. An angel appeared to her when she was 15 years old, or around that she was going to be overshadowed by the Holy Spirit, and she was going to give birth to a son. And she was going to call him Jesus. Think of what it was like for a 15-year-old child, a girl, to be told she was going to become pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Think of the jeering and the ridicule that she had to put up with. But yet she was constant with what the Lord had said to her. And she followed through with what he wanted for her life. She was mocked, and she went through a whole lot. But then later, as Jesus grew, she lived with the greatest sacrifice. She had to watch him mocked and crucified on a cross up until death. As her son rose again, there was joy, and she secured the grave for eternity and for her. We can all relate to at least one of these, and maybe even all of these mothers mentioned. There are many more, like Elizabeth, mother of John the Baptist, who was childless into her old age, but God blessed her with a child later in life, and he would grow to baptize many and to baptize our Messiah. Or Naomi, who lost her husband, and then years later, her two sons. One of the daughter-in-laws stayed with her and later married Boaz, the kinsman redeemer. Naomi became a grandmother in the lineage of Jesus. Bathsheba, known for her adultery with the king, King David, the murder of her husband, and the death of her first child. She would later become King David's wife and mother of Solomon, who was one of the wisest men. There's a thread here of obedience and of God honoring that obedience. All of these women dealt with real pain, problems, and felt sorrow, confusion, loss, guilty, depression, just like we do. But their faith brought them through. But despite all of the negative, they put their families first and provided love and support and a home. Some of you right now are going through or dealing with similar circumstances. And maybe you're not handling them too well. Some of these ladies didn't either. But God. All women need to forgive themselves. I know I've had to forgive myself for many things in my past. I didn't get saved until I was in my 50s. So I had my children, and they were not brought up with the Lord. I walked around for many, many years of guilt that I did not bring them up in the Lord. I had a breakthrough. God showed me that He is faithful and that He has my children in His hands, and they will come to the Lord. Yours will too. No matter what you have done, it's not about us. It's all about Him. His promises are true, and they do not lie. When I became a mother, it was the greatest honor I could walk in. I remember leaving my home in labor and looking around and thinking, my life is never going to be the same again. It's going to be totally different when I come home with this baby. It was a new chapter in my life. The joy and love when my boys were born is unexplainable. Love so deep it hurts. And I know each mother knows what I'm talking about. There you go. That cry. How I miss it. Life has been filled with many memories of laughter, love, as well as hurt and pain. Being a single mom was tiring at times, but all I needed was to see those faces full of love looking to me for guidance, and all was well. I had to work full time, and there was not many times I would not be able to attend their school functions. And they would let me know that they didn't like it and that they felt sad. So, of course, guilt came in, and, I had to let that also go. As women, our number one thing is our children. We will move heaven and earth to protect them from anything. We as mama bears go into combat mode, and I don't think anyone would want to tangle with us. Just as Jochebed hid Moses, or Hagar ran off to the desert to protect her son, or Hannah, Sarah, Samson, Elizabeth, they all suffered emotionally, wanting a child so badly, crying out day and night to be a mom, but they were real women going through real circumstances. They weren't special. They were just like you and I. They pursued for their family out of love. Mary, mother of Jesus, like I said, I couldn't imagine being a 15-year-old dealing with everything that she had to deal with. They overcame obstacles and did not think of themselves. Ladies, I just want to tell you, you are all amazing. You are special. You are gentle, loving women. But you are also mama bears. And fighting on your knees daily, pushing back the powers of darkness. Today, the woke culture wants to call you birthing people or inseminated person. How insulting. The enemy is after us, but we know someone who is much greater, who calls us his own. A mom is many things. I've only mentioned a few, but I can speak for all moms today that when we love with our whole being. There is nothing that can separate us from our children. We will always be constant in their lives. A mother's love is the closest thing to our Father's love. It is a love that goes through the valley of the shadow of death to bring life into being. It is a love that sacrifices itself over and over and over again and would lay down their life for their children. I would like to leave you with this. Moms, you are loved more than you can ever, ever imagine, even when the kids don't tell you or they're fighting you. So give yourselves a big hug today and stand up straight and walk in the calling of mother, a wonderful title. After all, God created you, and he has the last say. God bless you, for I pray all the mothers, and I pray today, if you've never experienced the love of God, that you will accept this invitation today. Today, I speak a blessing of peace and love, abundance of joy. May your heart overflow today with our Father's love. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you. This is a song that I found on the internet, which I think will bless you.